I graduated BMSIT in 2009, so I was in the batch of telecom. In the engineering batch, we kind of completed all the 4 years, as BMSIT had started, I think, in 2002. Yes. So I think, as far as I remember, at that time when the companies used to come, it was whether you were tier 1 or something, and you come on campus as a first. So I think the batch before us had a large recruitment from Accenture. So Accenture came in first on the campus. I didn't make it through. I was surprised why I didn't make it through. Then came Infosys. It was a tough day as far as I remember, going in, out of the interviews. I used to live on campus in the hostel, so we had people coming in and going out of interviews to kind of know that they were looking for really particular people. Interviews went good. By the end of the day, I was able to crack Infosys. Also, within a couple of days, I also interviewed on campus for Cognizant. That came through, and I think then they started putting a law, I would say a guideline or a policy in the campus that you can't be recruiting for more than one company. So I had to stop myself from interviewing with anybody else. But I think the bigger factor came in was when I graduated, a lot of companies pushed away their joining timelines because it was a recession time. And actually, luckily, both my companies offered me a date in the next 3 months of finishing college. So it was like a destined choice, that I would say, that if I would have got Accenture, probably I would have waited much longer. I see a point where, on campus makes a difference when it comes to a comfort level of thinking whether you have a job while you're doing your engineering. So it was an automatic pressure that you have to pass every time, every class, otherwise you lose your job. I think depends on what you want to do out of your life. I took 4 years because I was indecisive of what I want to do, and it's okay to be indecisive. When I went into my master's, I felt a lot of people that came into my master's, about 30% of the batch was just fresh out of engineering and had joined the master's. Few of them had only about a year worth of experience. Having a couple of years of experience helps you crack a job when you're in master's. Only 5% of the people that get placed through on campus, because on campus is not conventionally the way things are outside India when you're pursuing and doing that. If I would want to give someone an advice, if they are not sure of what they want to do, attempt the GRE, attempt a couple of universities, keep the admit on your backhand, think about it whether you want to make that choice, and in case you are indecisive whether you want to pursue that university, talk to some people that have already graduated that university rather than talking to people that are already enrolled, because those will be people very motivated to give their opinion towards that side. But it's okay to be indecisive and wait for a few years. I would say it helps you when you are in that university to have an understanding of what you want to do. But let's say you want to go into a research area and you want to pursue a master's towards the research side, and you want to grow yourself into research, I don't think so waiting for a few years would be the right way to go about it. I would say do it right now in that case. Working across different domains is a very, very worthy experience when it comes to interviews. People want to hire you over another candidate who's probably worked for 10 years in a particular domain, because they are not exposed to a lot of spectrum that you are. So while I was in telecom, we couldn't have any bug defect at all, because that will be critical to the business and you lose a lot of money just by one bug, with calls leaking or calls dropping. So the type of work that I did, the databases were Informix based, means transactions were like million transactions per second speed. So I learned a lot of systems around there. Then I went into banking. Banking is a lot of legacy systems, so you are trying to work around the old code and trying to refine that. You don't have a possibility of actually making something from scratch, from fresh, unless it's an IT interface like an app over the banking system. And when I came into retail, it was all about, how can you do a lot of business in the shortest amount of time and be competitive enough. So I think when I worked across the three domains, what I learned was skills that I attained in another domain were actively helpful into one of my current jobs. Things that I'm exposed to in one domain at that point of time may seem a little challenging. The learning curve is steep when you switch domains, because you have to be explicit to most people that you talk to that, hey, treat me as somebody who doesn't understand how to sell things. So when I came in Amazon, I just didn't understand what a purchase order means and what a shipping invoice means. So I had to literally spend time on seeing videos and probably take a lot of MBA lessons, because that is not what I did. Maybe those people learn a little bit about the insides of business, and I did not have I did not learn all of that when I was in banking. So but when it came about financials in retail, like people doing weekly reporting and then they're talking about financials, and those meetings, people used to spend a lot of time analyzing numbers, so that was not difficult for me. So that helped me. Overall, I think as much as you can get exposed to domains, that's one good thing. I always look at a domain called healthcare, because that's a very widely used domain in US. A lot of friends who work in healthcare have a bigger spectrum. So at some point of time in my future, I would want to work for a healthcare domain, because things are very much different. So it's good to be exposed to domains. Yeah, Amazon has been good so far. 4 years. I've switched about 3 roles within Amazon itself. I worked in different teams. I've delivered products that people like you and me shop on Amazon. And that could be widgets that you look at, compare widgets, whether or not you want to. It helps you make a purchase decision. In Amazon, when you join as a company, it's okay to switch roles. After a year, people don't look at it negatively. Most other companies don't allow internal switching that easily. There's a lot of flexibility, and your management is supportive of moving within the role within Amazon. So I switched 3 teams in the last 4 years, which is not that difficult. I have had about 9 manager changes so far. I've been in Amazon in the 4 years, so which means within my role, so many times managers changed because they even switched roles. It's rewarding to a degree, because you learn you learn a lot in a short span of time. You learn with people, you learn on your soft skills much proactively, because you end up working with a lot of people. In Amazon, success is what you define yourself. Nobody's gonna tell you whether you're doing something right or wrong. It's more at a level that you make an informed decision based on some data, of course, to back it up. Challenges I feel is that it's very competitive. Sometimes it grows you to a level where you want to think why are you doing this. There are good and bad days, but I think it helps you grow and know how competitive this space is, and how much people can do for you. And within Amazon, I think overall, if I would look at it for the last 4 years, I think I learned a lot overall. I think I'm still learning every day I go, be it learning from my manager, be it learning from my team, or be it learning from any person. Most things are very cross-functional, so you don't end up just working for your own team. You have to work with people that you don't even know in the company so many times, and plus across the globe. So given that it's so big. Become a business analyst first. Try to know what SQL can do, how you can write documents. A business analyst becomes a very successful program or product manager. Learning courses around product management. Yes, there are some courses that you can go online these days and learn product management. There's one such course on a website called Udacity that teaches you a product management career path. And again, product management is not something that you need a master's degree to work in. A couple of years in the industry as a business analyst can take you to a product management career path. I think I am too late if I look at it and think about it. You can always join fresh out of college if you have a exposure to what a product manager does or a program manager does by learning through it. And then there is a lot of videos on YouTube that gives you an exposure on what the job day-to-day functions are of a product and a program manager. So I think if you want to pursue in that direction, there's a lot of resources available to learn and grow. And obviously there would be some job where you will land into that job for the first time and you will not know what to do. So a lot of times people do coach you and bring you as an associate product manager or a junior product manager and help you become a successful product manager. So somebody in fresh from college, I would recommend you to take that career path if you like it and you love it. So don't just jump into unseen waters without knowing what kind of sharks are waiting for you. I work around a lot of machine learning. I think that has significant future. AI has a significant future. A lot of decision making in corporations involve you to work around ML. So people that are probably pursuing courses right now, I would say if your university doesn't teach you what ML is, just go online. There are a lot of web-based companies that offer courses. That was not an option when I was in university. Technology has changed a lot. Go online, look at career paths of what a data scientist is, or what a data engineer is, or a machine learning engineer is. Take up courses that can take you in that direction. That's something very, very fresh in market and in demand. It's one of the most highest paying jobs. I'm pursuing these courses while I'm in jobs right now, like while I work right now, because I want to keep my learning up to date. So I think that has a future. IoT certainly has a future, but that's very limited, given that it's hardware device dependent, a lot of it. So I think there's a consortium that Google and Amazon and Microsoft has joined on keeping these devices in sync to this whole IoT thing. So I think it has a future, but I don't know if there's a lot of coursework to take you into that direction. For blockchain, let's see how it goes. I do like crypto as a currency. I do invest into it, but that's on my risk. But I don't know. I don't understand much about how the technology in the backend works. I think I look at it from an investor side, and from a learning side, I don't know what the future it holds for now. Okay, so I think from an engineering standpoint, nothing is what if I would want to restart something. I think I was in Bangalore. I was in BMSIT. I think telecom was fun for me to learn. I always had an eye towards being a computer science student. I think because of my Comet case course, I did not get computer science, which was fine. I think at some point of time, because telecom was something totally new for me to learn outside of what computer science would have offered me. It was a challenge. If I would want to change, I would want to change my internal marks. There were times that subjects were tough. From my third semester till my 8th semester, there was always one tough subject that had a 35 till my 8th semester. That was on the critical edge. I think I would want to change and put more effort into those subjects and not have that feeling. Although the feeling of graduating without having any back in VTU was very rewarding to a degree, but not comforting every time you had to open the screen to see the marks. There's a lot of things outside of the time I spent not learning is what I want to change. I think I was not exposed to a lot of learning outside of what engineering was teaching us. I think at that point of time there was only YouTube, and Facebook had just introduced. Everybody was more hooked onto those platforms. I wish I had a mentor at that time who could guide me into some direction. That is what I would have changed. Last 4 years that I worked after finishing engineering, I don't think so anything was bad enough for me to change, especially my GRE scores. So that is something I could have paid more study towards the English side of things. I wish I could have changed that and gained more vocabulary. In my master's, I think I graduated my master's in a year, which was a 2-year program. So I don't think so I would want to change that. Learning through and living different cities in the US has been very, very fruitful. So I think the only thing that I would want to change is getting more exposure throughout my 11 years. That's something that I feel that whatever you guys are doing right now through this recording, if these things were available from a technology front, that could have exposed me to more